D&D screen over here, and we're recording. Okay. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Wazakas Gaming YouTube channel. My name is Antoinette, and today we're bringing you Mashup Mondays, where I have my group of delinquents. Say hello, delinquents.
Hello.
Hello, delinquents.
Thank you. You guys understood.
I am not delinquent.
Lupe Bratskull is the most delinquent person at this table. I refuse to argue about it. Welcome to episode 3 of Realm of Vastoria. Before we get started, big shout out to Vault X, who has now accepted us into their affiliate program. If you guys want to help out the channel, you can go to our referral link down in the description. They have all kinds of things, binders, card protectors, nerd accessories galore, or you can use the code WAZAKAS10 for 10% off of your first order. Oh my God, yes, I know. Okay, so does anyone have anything productive to say before we get started?
I have a long list of unproductive things.
Will, say something.
My productive thing is that we should move on.
I love that.
I want to thank the Academy. I want to say thank you to everyone who believed in me.
Last week,
I have 26 health and 1 rage left, everyone.
Oh no, you guys didn't heal? Someone forgot to do that. Last we left our audacious heroes, they had successfully taken down the Dweller, a beast that had been feeding off the living energy of the people found in the mining outskirts outside of the capital. Yet you managed to obtain the medicine vial, said to contain a mixture that would allow for Robert to, hopefully, recover from his ailment. However, just as you were about to see the fruit of your labor, the ground shook and a large explosion consumes the air. I'd like everyone to roll a d20. This is a big shake in the ground. I'd like to say who manages to keep their footing.
Is this a Constitution saving thing?
Yeah, let's do Constitution saving throw. How do you?
It was a dexterity save.
We're gonna do Constitution because I said so.
This is
absolutely not.
This is a
Dex.
19 for Abira.
So not Dex?
No, we'll do Dex. Not doing Constitution for that.
Advantage on with danger sense.
Sure, I'll give you an advantage to your roll.
The Constitution is for after I failed the Dex.
Exactly.
I have the same modifier.
Hey, imagine
16, that's good.
Imagine drinking
9.
tea last week and being knocked unconscious. Couldn't be Lupe.
9?
9.
What?
Okay. Lupe, what did you get?
Dex?
Yeah, Dex.
18.
18,
Hey.
okay. So, Zarin, you are taken back for a moment. And you hear a scream and a small voice crying out to you, begging for something to stop. And you can't move, you can only watch on. And there are crumbling vestiges around you before you snap back to the present. But you're kind of lightheaded
there
and
goes
you
gravity.
stumble, but you barely catch yourself on the wall. Silent, you are also brought back to a village and the smell of smoke and the sound of rushing water, and there's a ghost pain in your robotic arm. You feel a severe burning sensation, and for a moment you too lose yourself, but manage to catch yourself on the lip of the bar. Lupe, on the other hand, is completely solid, cannot be moved in absolute rock. Good for you, Lupe. Good for you.
Are you guys okay?
You guys doing all right?
This bar is a little weak.
Yes. Is it
else?
still suffering from the damage that you and that monstrosity of a robot did?
Is it?
So there are several patrons of the bar. They are starting to scream, and everyone is rushing out the front door and scrambling to the windows to catch a glimpse of what's going on. I'm assuming you guys
That's
go
probably
outside.
a
You guys.
problem.
So do you guys want a beer? Do you guys want to just?
So you're saying the bar is unguarded?
The bar is unguarded. That is true. Everyone is gone. Is Lupe doing something he shouldn't be?
Probably.
Wait, I'm not supposed to be doing this?
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm assuming you guys are gonna go see what's
Yes.
going on.
Yeah, but I'm gonna grab a beer before I'm just gonna pour a beer and just like casually like walk up, like I'm drinking a morning coffee.
As you walk up to the bar to grab your beer, Kegbot appears in front of you and places a heavy hand on your shoulder. He doesn't seem to care at all what's going on. He's like, "Friend, allow me," and he opens up his stomach and he puts a tankard inside and and hands it to you. Friend, I'll just place this
I-
here for you.
I
on
just
the
like
bar.
reach through past him, and I'm just like, I'm gonna just stick with the old fashioned pour.
Kegwad just stands there and he goes, just looks out of the ground.
Yep.
I'll take your chest beer.
Then he hands it to Lupe and he's like, oh, great. Fuck yeah, here you go.
You're serving a
Thank
minor.
Here's.
It's a robot.
Neither you nor I have any clue how we'll let it go.
That's true.
So after you get your beer, I'm imagining or at least the rest of you go and see what's happening. So as you burst forth for the tavern, you suddenly are met with a symphony of demonic roars and the anguished cries of the city's inhabitants. And looking up, you can see multiple shadows cascading about the sky, but they're kind of hard to make out exactly what they are until one randomly branches off from the flock and makes a sharp turn nosedive down towards Lupe. And Lupe, I'd like for you to roll on your magic table for me, actually.
It's definitely some pigeons.
Yeah, it's just a big ass bird. I don't know what you guys everyone calm down.
Really big pigeons.
47.
What's 47?
1 second.
Did you physically write everything? On
Did you really?
There's no way. There's so many things.
Lupe Ratskull, did you really?
Nope. I was
Okay.
just checking.
Oh my god. I was like crazy.
There's so many things on the Chaos Magic table. There's no way you wrote them all down.
No,
Then
I
he's
did
printed.
not.
Printed, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Sure, it's in a book
1
somewhere.
second.
It's
Oh,
a-
it is. It is on a book.
I'm opening up. I'm sorry I'm revealing.
It's okay. It's okay. As
Hey,
you,
I'm
gonna
glad you're
guess
finally
that
opening up to
the magic
us.
is gonna be wild and unexpected.
I'm hoping you just turn into a sheep or something. Like
That'd be fun.
47.
Fun fact, if he gets turned into a potted plant, things could get wild.
So let's just start this off by saying Lupe has a moment where his pupils vanish and they are replaced by like this glowing white light, and the pebbles around his feet on the ground, they're kind of shaking and hovering as a sense of this powerful magic starts to basically concentrate around you. And as he is about to let it out, 47?
This sets Thana on high alert. She knows that
Something. So
something's gonna happen.
So Thana's looking on, and she is scared, or is she?
Apprehensive, preparing. Sometimes it's fine. Sometimes she's gotta do shit real fast.
How far away are we from Lupe when this is happening? Is
I'm
he,
gonna
like,
get-
right next to us.
Yeah, he should. Yeah. So as this is happening, I will give the rest of you a chance to react. Oh, as you see this happening, you do notice that the energy is coming from Lupe. Would anyone like to do anything? You have a split
I
second.
take a big step backwards.
Big step backwards. What does Abira do?
Yeah, I think a beer is just kind of just hanging out. We just grabbed a beer together, so I'm like,
So you're just watching on with the beer.
yeah,
in
I'm,
your
just,
hand.
I'm sitting there with a beer, and like I go to like put my hand on his shoulder.
as
like,
the energy is
Yeah.
okay. What does Sidon
Simon's
do?
still a little shooken up from his arm hurting right
So
now.
is he kind of back?
He's back staring at her.
And you've already taken your big step.
Gotta be
All right,
Ready?
gotcha. And what happens?
Alright, so, like, as he, like, goes to put his hands on my shoulder,
Oh, Abira. Okay.
they're just like a poof, and instead of being right side up, I'm upside down, like, with my feet.
Oh my gosh.
Hand.
Okay.
Standing on your head or your hands?
I'm upside down.
On your head or your hands?
Like, is your body
My
part?
feet are on the bottom, defying gravity.
Oops,
I'm
gravity
hanging
went.
from.
Is that
Oops,
heavy?
I went gravity.
Is that?
I can
He's a
now.
rat-sized person.
I am going to start walking.
Do you even bench, bro?
So your feet are in the air and your hands are on the ground?
Oh, I'm not touching the ground.
He's only touching Abira. He's standing on Abira's arm.
Oh, Abira, how does Abira react to this? You still have a shadow is nosediving as this happens. So the energy as it is consumed into you, and everyone is expecting this huge, powerful reaction. You just kind of poof, and nothing really.
So like, are you just hovering on?
I'm like stuck to your.
Oh, so
Are
you are
you're-
glued.
you're-
You're the ground.
You're
now.
stuck to me?
You are
Okay.
ground.
Um,
Wherever my feet are.
I It's hard for me to picture exactly what's happening
You
here.
are the singularity universe.
You are the singularity.
Can you stop shaking so much?
Miss,
I would
Mistra,
like
help
to
me.
walk down his arm onto his back.
So as you are doing this, the creature makes a sharp right turn and suddenly turns their blade to Zarin. I'd like for you to roll a d20 for me and add a dexterity modifier.
Well, this isn't going well for Zarin. If it's a dex saving throw, that's gonna be a 7.
Whew, better than me though. So as the creature takes a nosedive, they take out their blade, and right as it's about to strike you, is when Lupe does his flip, and it seems to kind of catch the creature off guard, and its blade barely misses you and kind of shinks against the ground, creating some sparks that fly up into the air, and you don't catch a glimpse. It is fast. It is a blurred line to you. This is not going to be a traditional combat situation, but I'd still like for you all to roll a d20 so I can get your initiative order.
Fight mode.
Fight mode.
15.
15.
Mistra works in mysterious.
What's yours?
I,
14? Okay.
13.
14, okay.
this is your back. I am now here.
What's your roll?
3.
3! Okay. What is your roll, Lupe?
I'm a little distracted. 9.
Okay. All right. So, in front of you,
Whoa.
as the chaos of the crowd is starting to become so jumbled, people are getting trampled, things are getting hurt. You smell smoke. There is a haystack on a wooden cart. It's caught fire, and you see two people. You see an old elven woman with a staff, and one of the creatures is walking towards her with its blade. And you see a young human boy that has already been grabbed by the arm and is being lifted off the ground. You can save one of them. I would like Abira. What would you like to do?
Yeah, so this elvish woman with the staff, I automatically assume that they can probably take care of themselves. So I'm going to run and jump and cut down this thing trying to carry off a small child.
Okay, go ahead and roll for me.
So Lupe's on your hand this whole time.
Lupe.
He's on my back now. Yeah, so Lupe is just now running with me.
He's just
He's
riding.
standing there.
He's riding.
Somebody-
Use him as a weapon. No. No, I'm the DM. You cannot do that. I said nothing.
What does happen if we try to throw
Is
this?
he right?
You could. Yeah,
I'll just stick to the thing.
15 to hit.
15. That is going to hit. So
We have no idea until you.
and you're using like a main melee weapon.
I'm going to use my halberd that has reach, so it can like kind of even if it's like starting to take off, I'm like just trying to cleave it down and just like strike it back to the ground.
So as you make contact with your weapon, you feel a very large thud. You're very sure you hit it. The boy falls to the ground, but you notice you did no damage to it at all. It shrieks, its jaw kind of breaks and unhinges at you, and it lets loose this like ridiculous howl, and it's going to come back at you with its jagged tooth blade. And it's going to do 12 points of damage to you.
Okay. Did we heal?
Nope,
from
you
last
did
thing?
not heal that. Don't worry about it. Y'all will be fine. All right.
Okay, well, Beer is unconscious.
That is fine. Miss Whitefeather, what would you like to do? Ibira is down.
Go stabilize Avira.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, that's my plan. I got a cure wounds left, so we're using that.
Zarin, what would you like to do?
Do
You have to roll. You have to roll for yours to
Cure
see how
wounds?
many you're gonna.
Yeah.
Your
How far away is where Avira and the
for this small scene, just know that you are all within range of each other.
Okay,
Fine, you
well-
guys.
In that case, I am going to use my bonus action to activate a blessing of the Raven Queen, and I am going to teleport 30 feet to where they are at.
Okay.
And then I am going to try and use Thunderwave in a way that the area of effect is centered on pushing just this thing away
Okay.
from us and not hitting my companions.
So I make a Constitution.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm rolling for a. How does a 12 sound?
It does not save. So that is going to be. Do I have my spell attack bonus for that one? Let's see.
For Thunderwave, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
Then that is going to be 12 points of damage, and you are pushed 10 feet.
Okay,
away
so
from us.
the creature raises its blade and it's about to strike down on Abira and Thana. And right as it's about to do so, the wave hits it and it shrieks and it gets thrown back into a wall. And it kind of crumbles there for a moment and it falls to the ground. But it lifts its head and it has eyes locked on you and you seem to have only pissed it off.
And I would like to say that as part of the Blessing of the Raven Queen, once my turn is completed, I have resistance to damage until my next turn.
Ooh, that's very nice.
My
Okay.
turn is partially translucent, so I'm there and you can see me, but it's like anything that tries to hit me kind of goes through me a little bit.
Lupe, what would you like to do attached to Abira?
Is the elf lady still attached to the creature?
The elf lady.
I thought it was the boy that we were next to.
The elf lady was not the one that was chosen. They are
Oh.
next to the little human boy.
Oh, it's the human boy who's chosen.
Yeah, he has
He's the chosen
screamed and cried and run off as soon as Abira stepped in.
The little boy will bring balance to the campaign.
Yes.
And the little boy's safe then.
Can you detach yourself in some way, or are you just stuck?
I'm going to like climb up onto like his shoulder. So I'm standing there.
On Abira's shoulder?
Yeah.
Can't be good for his healing.
And I would like to cast suggestion. Excuse me. Could you go away, please?
It looks at you and it's.
Wisdom save.
You can't reason with this thing. It can't understand you. It seems to be completely out.
Okay.
Dana's right next to a beer if you want to jump on him.
Are you offering? Are you like? Yeah, I'd like to hop over.
As you guys are trying to collect it yourselves, the one that was thrown into the wall, it let loose one last cry. But this one is different than the ones before. It's echoing, it's radiating out, and you can see several shadows starting to dip down from the sky towards you guys, and they are aimed at your party. There are dozens of these things. However, right as all seemed lost, and you guys are in your raggediest of states, congratulations.
I'm fine.
Against the backdrop of a red-filled sky, a formidable group of warriors appear, clad in matching azure blue armor, and adorned with the royal crest on their breastplate. And they begin moving with synchronized precision. And right as several of them were about to descend upon you, you are met with these warriors swooping in, and they are blocking strikes, and they are pushing them back, and they seem to be having a good time. And one of them looks over at Abira and says, "Hope you weren't hurt, sweetheart. You should really get out of the way, though. The professionals have arrived," and they are slaying things left and right. However, there is one thing you may notice. How about you all roll a perception check for me?
Also, how shiny is their armor?
So shiny and rich that it's nothing you've ever been able to afford. Nothing.
First nat 20 of the session.
Oh! Okay.
So it's
Okay.
going to be a 24 from me.
Wow.
Can I take some of their shiny? No. now?
No, Lupe.
Hey, Lupe.
Tiny.
Lupe. Yeah, take it. You can. I got your bag, little guy.
So you notice
He
that
says I can take it.
Abira said it was okay. So you notice that there is something a little bit scripted about their movements. There is something off with
they're
this
scripting.
fight. There's something off. However, there's really no time to complain as the crowd suddenly is erupting and they're chanting, "Elite, elite, elite, elite." And you look around and either there is bodies of these slain creatures cascaded upon the ground, or they have all taken off into the sky. And as you look around, these warriors are pulling their spears out. Hardly any blood or tattered, nothing seems to be on them. But they seem to be absolutely reveling in the glory that the crowd is providing them. And as the chanting grew, you watch as the so-called group begin to approach you all. And leading the group is a man with slicked back blonde hair and a very stretched smile. He's very pompous and yes, hello. You're welcome for saving you. And he looks in your direction and he says, "Oh, I hope you weren't hurt, milady." And he tries to grab your hand to place a kiss upon it.
Wait.
is on me now.
You're still stuck, Lupe. Lupe is a part of this.
I trigger Lupe and say
As he reaches forward, I would like to grab his armor and try to take.
And he's like,
shiny.
get your hands. I thought this was
As he does that while I'm laying on the
Lupe stuck
ground,
now?
I stick my halberd out right beneath his ankles, so when he pulls back,
Sure,
he
roll.
goes-
Let's see if
he goes to trip. It's like a 10.
a 10. As you go
11.
to trip him, he seems to do a little graceful jump, and he kind of just floats above your weapon and gracefully slides back down. And the crowd cheers, and he's like, "I know, right? I can fly. I'm pretty fucking great. I know." And he flashes a smile towards the ladies, and they're, and they fall over. This man, Lupe does not seem to like this man.
He called me your pet.
You're not a pet.
Not anymore.
No.
Okay, good.
Well, it seems that he is very taken aback by Lupe, kind of just clasped onto you, and all of a sudden he's just kind of like, ugh, to the two of you, and he's like, "Never mind, I should never have asked." But then he turns to Zarin and he says, "But you're not hurt, milady," and he tries to grab your hand.
If Zaren's eyes could roll back any harder, she would literally be looking at her brain right now. And she literally is like, "Didn't realize that we interrupted the ballet in town."
And do you allow him to touch your hand is the question.
No, definitely not.
So as he goes to grab your hand, you kind of pull it back, right? As you do so, you hear a collective from the crowd as no one has ever denied him.
I would like to.
discouraged.
I'd like to cast Mage Hand, and I'd like to use my Mage Hand to give him a turkey, so he goes to
Oh yeah, then he just kind of, and he's very confused by that, and then for a moment he just kind of collects himself and he's like, "Oh, she's feisty. I like that."
and then my Mage Hand starts winding up like a little Jack-in-the-Box, and then becomes a middle finger.
Beautiful but unrefined. Perfect, exactly what we're looking for. And he kind of whisks his hands up and he kind of cascades into the sky. And as he does so, his voice booms over the crowd. He's like, "Just the woman to answer our call." And as he does so, he kind of reaches into his satchel and he pulls out a bunch of flyers that fall down to the ground. And everyone starts scrambling for them. Would anybody like to pick up a flyer and read what it says?
Flyer.
I use my Mage Hand to pick up the flyer. I don't want to touch anything that he's touched directly.
But I can drop thing. I'll have it.
It reads, and he basically says, "If you wish to make your mark on history, join Fioria's elite and meet us at the courtyard of the royal palace at sunrise. And as you look at the pamphlet, you notice it says, the Alliance wants you 50,000 gold reward, mercenaries welcome, courtyard at sunrise. And as he does so, the rest of his team kind of lifts with him and they just and dissipate into the sky. Everyone is kind of scrambling at these flyers and they're talking 50,000 gold. This I could move out of the lower rings. We would be kings and queens and they're scrambling. And as the crowd kind of dissipates, Charlemagne breaks away and she grabs the flyer and she says, "This is perfect. I have another job for you. You guys go to the courtyard tomorrow and you guys can get into the royal palace and there will be so many people there, you will completely go unnoticed. Just see if you see anything, any clues as to where they could be hiding the other captive. And as you can see there's 50,000 gold sitting in a vault somewhere." Does that sound like a good reward to you?
Does it involve that golden-haired fuckboy? What's his name? Do you know that, Charlemagne?
Charlemagne goes, "I don't want to talk about it."
We'll
she
tell you
says.
when you're older.
Okay.
She said,
Simon
"Listen,
does not like this golden-haired boy.
that's why I broke up with him," she says. "Yes, I
You
know.
were dating him?
I was young and stupid, darling. I was young and stupid. But this could be an opportunity of a lifetime for us. Plus, if you guys are managed to complete the mission, $50,000, 50,000 gold reward. You would need never again. Can you do this one last request for me?"
Yeah.
"Okay, fine. What do you want from me?" "How about the idea of being a good Samaritan and helping out the little man, eh?"
I'm just saying, we were still supposed to have been able to go see an oracle as a reward from our last time, so...
And she has been notified and will reach out to you.
I'm so sorry.
Right, like,
Look for it?
this week, next week, next year...
This one?
Oh.
There was supposed to be a unicorn.
It was supposed to be a unicorn.
Are you got a freaking unicorn? Lupe!
Unicorn.
Lupe, bring it back!
Instead, you're stuck to people. Look where we are.
Lupe, I
Okay.
want a unicorn!
Fine, I see your point. I can guarantee you the Oracle will reach out as soon as you are finished with this final mission. But not a moment sooner.
But then after that mission, then she'll reach out to us after that mission, and then after that mission.
Come back to the tavern when you have finished. You can talk to her then.
Is there an oracle for the oracle? Like,
You know what? I'll just go find another ragtag group of heathens that want 50,000 gold, a free room, and access to an oracle to tell them their
Okay,
destinies.
I'm not saying I don't want
Also, the oracle was
50,000.
promised this morning. I haven't even had a day.
Don't necessarily believe that the 50,000 is real.
Yeah, also, can we just
It's
talk
the
about...
Royal Alliance. They have an endless supply of gold. 50,000 would be
And
nothing.
who are these elite
Can
exactly?
we
The
also...
rulers of the realm from each kingdom.
Can we also just talk about how, like, that was very, very staged, right? Like, you guys saw how good I hit that thing,
It's definitely CGI.
right? And, like, they just magically float down from the heavens and just start clearing
Oh,
everything
that
up.
was absolutely a
There is
choreographed
no
fight.
Right, there had
question
to have
that
been.
they are sneaky and conniving, but unless I have proof and unless I have information, they are going to continue to do what they do under the darkness of the lower ring. And I'm telling you, since Fioria is the capital, it is going to stretch out to every aspect of this kingdom, and it doesn't matter who or what you are or what status you hold, you will fill these remnants.
Dana doesn't say anything, but she's already decided she's going, and she's much more focused on exploring Lupe's new center of gravity.
Charlemagne looks at you and says, "Darling, I'm going to tell you one last time. This is not a classroom. You need not raise your hand." "Yes, Lupe Ratskull."
Oh, if we go, do we get shiny?
I will give the coins of various. Oh, you mean his armor? Hey, if you
Yes.
happen to take some things you're not supposed to, I won't tell if you
Let's do
won't.
it. I'm in. Let's do it.
Hey,
They would.
hey, Lupe, I fully support you taking all of that person's armor, because what a pompous He's-
Asshole.
The answer is yes.
Wait, you said that these guys were royalty, so you dated a prince?
Oh no, darling, those are the elites. The elites are the most powerful warriors in the realm. They come from everywhere and they can technically be anyone, but they usually come from a higher social standing. They've been trained all their lives, they have the access to the best resources, they come from aristocrats and landowners and tavern owners and all sorts of...
Now Thanos starts rolling her eyes.
And so the elites are supposed to do what exactly?
The elites are the protectors of the realm. Though, looking at this
So
flyer,
cops.
I'm not exactly sure they're promising you a spot. It just says the Alliance wants you, mercenaries, welcome. So this may be a temporary thing. Either way, you go into the castle, you see what they want. Either you could steal the gold, I don't know, or you can complete the mission, get 50,000, and now the Royal Alliance looks at you as heroes. You can do no wrong. They would not expect you or any of the doings that you've had with me. Just don't mention me to that blonde-haired idiot. It could hurt your standings, your chances.
How does Abira feel about the elites overall, throughout just kind of his, he's a very well-established fighter and stuff like that, so I'm sure he's had plenty of run-ins with these elites.
That would be, they
Or
yeah.
lineages.
The elites are not all stationed within the capital. They can be sent out to any part of the continent. So it is it's highly that, if you've ever taken on like any form of, high risk, high reward missions, you may have been working against these guys, or you've definitely run into them. There might even be a few that may recognize your face.
Okay. All right. Is there a general vibe of pompous assholes, or are there just like,
That one guy.
the one guy?
I would say that the idea of becoming an elite usually starts with one wanting to do right by his or her, their country, and protecting those that they care about. But when you have snakes leading anything, poison runs deep. And a lot of them will start to believe that they are more important than they are. For sure. There's definitely ones that are the good guys, but if the good guys do nothing, when the bad guys do everything, it's really hard to tell who's a good guy.
And let that be a lesson.
And let that be a lesson to y'all. I would say, though, the general consensus of the everyday people is that when things are happening and the elites show up, they are propagandized to believe that our saviors are here. However, as Abira may be one to know, is that sometimes when they don't have watchful eyes, they are corrupt like any other soldier unit that you can think of. But 50,000 gold coins.
I guess we don't really have a choice. We kind of have to go.
Shiny trinkets.
I'm not flirting with the asshole as a distraction, though.
Look, guys, I'm just
tried.
saying, we go up there, and we keep our heads
I don't know if you're
down.
gonna be his type.
We can just
Hold
take
on,
a
Abira.
look.
Go ahead.
We can just take a look, hear the nonsense that they're going to say, and the shtick that they're going to try to lure and convince all of these low-level mercenaries to take part in, and definitely die.
50,000, yeah.
Yeah, because look, they're not giving out this reward because the task is super easy and simple. They're probably going to be like, there's a massive dragon who's like 50,000 years old who needs to be killed. And we are too weak to do it.
Write that down.
1,000 gold for every year.
Yeah.
50,000 years
Yeah.
old. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so let's just hear what they have to say. I'm going to just put this out there. Maybe we have you two put on some disguises, as he has both now tried to flirt with you both, and we don't want to draw extra attention to ourselves.
You do get the
Yeah.
sense that he flirts with every single woman that crosses his path. And it might be hard to remember, it might be easy to remember you two.
I was about to say, you did, flip him off and then do whatever that weird
It's called a turkey, Avira.
Charlemagne-
Have you not ever heard of a turkey?
Charlemagne looks at you and she says that she understands the concerns, but this is.
See, this is a turkey.
So Charlemagne looks at you all and she says something along the lines of, I understand your concerns. This is a little bit different. There's going to be countless amounts of people that probably respond to this flyer. They are very good at, how shall we say, gathering a crowd. Most likely you'll be able to slip in, and to be honest with you, I have a feeling that you'll be talking to someone much higher on the ranking list than him. And she seems to be refusing to say his name, so it must not have been that great.
Hey, do you have any fun goss about when you guys dated? Like any like embarrassing?
Absolutely, I do. That
Yeah.
I want everyone here to know that he what is it called? he doesn't wear underwear underneath his armor.
Wow.
He does not wear underwear underneath his armor, and I don't see how he
commander
fights
goes
like
commando?
that. The commander goes commando, and I want to put
Wow.
that out there, but you didn't hear it from me. She says,
Okay. Okay, so
disgusting,
yeah,
very dry.
it's very unhygienic. That's for sure.
So just stop me when I get close.
What?
Oh.
His attitude doesn't
Instead of
reflect
getting bigger,
anything
get
else.
closer together.
But we're not making fun. Whoa. Here at the Wazakas D&D Tavern, we do not. But him specifically, yes. Very. She says, look, we have someone on the inside.
It's an energy. It's
And
not.
if you do this for me, I can guarantee you, when you get back, I will let you speak to the Oracle. Promise.
Right. We were supposed to do
Please,
that
please.
anyways, but.
I only told you about the Oracle this morning. This is the same day. Are you going to help me, or am I going to have to find someone else to stay here?
Okay, but
We already agreed.
Charlemagne, but pinky promise.
Oh, this is getting really
We get to
serious.
see the Oracle as
Okay.
soon as we're done talking with this.
She looks at you, and for a moment her eyes go purple, and there's this energy, like a very, very thin, glowing energy around her. And as she lifts her pinky, you can feel the power radiating, and from her voice she casts enchantment, and she holds up the pinky. Ooh! Now, if anyone breaks their pinky promise, that have to lose an entire arm.
Yeah.
That's just how it works, guys.
Yeah. Hey,
just how it works.
I'm just saying. I expect to see an Oracle when we get done talking with this guy.
It's a pet rock with some googly eyes. He tells me everything. Okay, so are we going to go, or are you saying screw the mission? Which is fine. This will be tomorrow. So yes, you will all go to the tavern and have a long, deserved sleep and a hot meal and all the alcohol that you can drink. Just remember, you do have to be up at sunrise. Sunrise.
Hey, guys, I actually have this very foolproof plan. It's helping me through so much. Get as drunk as you want, okay?
God.
I promise you. Before bed, it'll all be okay. Get as drunk as... Hey,
He can put it back.
Anna,
You're small. Yeah?
I promise he will be completely fine. Just trust me on this. Get as drunk as you want.
So, all right. So you're gonna get drunk tonight. So he gets drunk. What do you? I'd like to know very quickly. Who goes straight to bed? Who meditates? Who does what? You're drinking, right?
Well, I would wish to crawl inside Robot and just sit here.
And Kegbot is just happy to have someone who wants to be around him right now. He just lets you sit there, very creepily. The lights turn off. Kegbot is still.
I would say a beer probably sits in the corner, not brooding, but definitely has a beer, and it's just kind of keeping an eye on the tavern, on the small one, just making sure everything about the night kind of goes off without a hitch, but also if any patrons are just conversing, just overhearing just either random war stories or gossip that's going on in the town.
Can you roll a d20 for me, actually?
Yeah. A 10.
A 10. So there are two patrons in particular that you can tell have been drinking a lot tonight, and their voices are very hushed, but you do make out a phrase saying, God help the dumbasses who are responding to this flyer, and they kind of laugh it off and move on. So there's something that you can prepare for there. And However, although you don't seem to know the what the call you are answering, there are some patrons who are whispering who do seem to know what's up. So it has gotten down to the lower rings of what this problem is, which has given you an idea of why this would cost 50,000 gold. What did you do tonight? Go to bed? Yoga?
I think that Zarin would also be trying to get the scoop from the patrons in the tavern.
Can you roll a d20 for me really fast?
What am I rolling for? Persuasion?
Just a d20.
Well, it's an 18 on the dice.
There is someone who slips in momentarily and leaves very quickly. You were the only one who noticed, and you can't quite make it out, but you just kind of know, Featherwind? And he enters and he leaves.
I'd like to follow him if possible.
Roll a d20, see if you can.
It's an 11 on the dice. If I can use a skill, I can add things to the 11 on the dice.
Lady, I have a beer for you. I only drank a little.
So as you turn to look at him and look back, he is already gone. What did you do tonight?
Step 1.
Step 1! Yeah!
Record my findings of Lupe's replaced center of gravity until he stops sinking.
Yeah, that's gonna be fixed after a good night's sleep. You'll be alright. You'll be fine.
It was an hour.
Oh yeah, you're stuck to Kegbot until it kinda away, but that's fine.
Step 2, resummon Beetle. I need Beetle then.
Oh, okay, so Beetle kind of pops up onto your shoulder and it kind of nuzzles into you, and there's a patron at the bar who's drinking and looking at you very weird to the point where beer is just kind of spilling over, and then Beetle turns and at them and spills his beer on the counter. For some reason, no one seems to like your spider. I don't know why. Silent, what did you do?
After he sees Lupe get into Kegbot, he runs over to Kegbot and slams his hand on the bar and asks for another beer.
Kegbot also slams his hand on the bar, right again, and breaks another portion of the bar, and Charlemagne just throws her hands in the air and just says, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Lupe gives him a beer.
Lupe gives who a beer? Silent or Kegbot? So you two spend the night drinking and being dumbasses while a beer keeps an eye on you to make sure that you don't get too crazy. Congratulations. Anything else? No shiny objects, sorry.
Oh,
Not yet. There's 50,000 coins. Don't forget, those very shiny.
As we go to bed, I explain again the concept of property to Lupe
What belongs to who?
and how people may or may not react if he decides to take their things.
I cannot take your stuff.
Good, Lupe. Good. Okay, so
Other people may also stab you if you try to
But
take
how
their
much of
things.
this is other people's stuff?
the beer starts to make Lupe. Yeah, loopy. Lupe becomes loopy. His thoughts are not coherent anymore, and he's starting to talk about things that you don't understand. You don't even understand yourself.
But I want.
Lupe goes to bed because it is past his bedtime.
So before,
Fine.
Yeah. Yes, Amira.
if we are gonna move into the end phase of the night, Abira will kind of gather both Silent and Lupe and just lays on hand 5 points on both of them, which cures poisoning.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Okay.
So they are no longer feeling the effects of being drunk or hungover the next morning.
Yes, Lupe.
Don't forget I'm a halfling with poison resistance, so.
Yeah. Well.
Literally is the talk and drink everyone under the table. So you all head to bed. Some of you with thoughts that plague you a little more than others.
When I head to bed and I go into my trance, I'm gonna switch one of my proficiencies.
Okay.
Using my trance ability, and I'm gonna swap out my performance check with sleight of hand.
Oh, okay, that's good. Very good. All right. Anything else? We good? So you all go to bed. The next day, you gather in the courtyard in the center of the capital. the very most center point, in fact. And before you stands a grand gob of a palace, a towering marvel adorned with several regional alliance flags, tall entryway columns, and a large concentration of masked soldiers tending to the ground, some completely statued in front of the entrances. And surrounding the palace is this massive iron gate, open for the first time in almost a decade to allow the general public who have answered the call to freely gather. And overhead, you even see a very rudimentary makeshift blimp with the words, "What can you do today?" flying overhead. Then out of nowhere you hear, "Oh my gosh, no way!" And a pair of women suddenly rush the group and they have their eyes fixated on you. And they're like, oh my God, no way. Are you White Feather? Oh, we went to school with your sister. We love her. We haven't heard very good things about you, but we love her. It's so nice to meet you. What are you doing here? Are you cleaning? Do you clean the grounds? Are you a servant here? Completely ignoring the towering, the tiefling behind you, the giant, the half giant, the weird little rat guy on the side. Yeah, everyone, they're just like, oh my gosh, you're a spitting image of a sister. Not as pretty, but she's just so close.
No, come in to see what all of the fuss is about.
Well, if you ever want to do something with your life, you let me know, girlie. We're always looking for a spot on our party team. Oh! Are you all? Yeah, anyway. So yeah, just give me a call, darling. And she hands you this little tiny piece of paper. And when you look at it, there's this like and it comes up with a name. Just Stacy. I don't want to be called anything else. It's Stacy. Oh, it talks. Hello, little thing.
I'm not asking you, does she have anything shiny on her?
Roll a d20.
Is that
And
Stacy
she-
with an I or a Y?
That's a Stacy with a Y.
Does Stacy have a mom?
Stacy's mom is dead. Yes. What did you roll for your dex?
9?
Or not dex. You were rolling to see what she had on her. Very easily, she is carrying lots of shiny things. You can tell. First off, she adorns a pink outfit. She's got a large bow on her back and strapped to her hip. She just is carrying a bag of coins. Sleight of hand.
Yeah.
I take the paper and say, "Why, thank you. Have you met my apprentice, Lupe?" And I hand the paper to you because apprentices keep things.
And she's got her eyes fixated over here. You just moved your sleight of hand. Did you want to try to do anything here, or she is very much like
Yeah. I don't even necessarily want to try and take the coins. I just want to use my dagger to try and slice the bag open.
Oh, okay, sure. Oh, here you got an 18 plus.
That is going to be a 22.
Yeah, so she is very fixated on what is going on over here, and she doesn't even notice.
While I am slicing the bag, I would also... How does she have her hair?
She has it kind of half up, half down, a little bit of like a bun in the back.
Yeah, I'd like to try and slice off the bun, too.
Okay, yeah, sure. So as she's over here going, oh, it's so cute, you have a little pet. Oh my god.
Apprentice.
Your sister said you had a pet.
Why do they keep calling me your pet?
Apprentice.
That's the spider
And
that
as she is just being a little rude ass bitch over here, she doesn't even notice the difference in weight on her hip or the top of her head. And the way that you slice it, there's a little bit of like scalp kind of showing. And she's like, oh my god, I just got so cold in here. And she just kind of just like, well, good luck today, darling. If you ever need anybody, you just call Stacy, okay? Okay. And then she and the other girl just kind of run off. Prance away.
As they're running off.
And the bag of coins, by the way, is just
trailing.
She doesn't even know that. Just trailing coin, shiny things.
Silent wants to try to take his sword on to burn her hair. As we're seeing her hair just
You mean let's say like a little,
Yeah.
sure.
She
Let's
said
your
she was
aim.
cold.
I shoot Lupe along the path.
Roll a d20 and
Yeah.
so you're trying
Shinies.
with your aim. So you want to do like you're trying to aim. So yeah, a little dex.
Abira took the liberty of adding some graffiti to
Oh, yes.
the sign.
The Alliance The elites suck. With the
It's just it's supposed to be his face, the
can't see this,
douchebag,
but-
the douchebag's face, but like with devil
Devil,
horns.
yeah, I thought so. Oh, I
then
can
they
do
just-
that back if you guys
Yeah,
know it.
and
Anyway.
they just
That was a 10, by the way.
That's a 10. I am going to say that it hits, but it's a very tiny little, like a very tiny ember. So you see a little trail of like white smoke, but she does not notice at all. She's kind of, it fucking stinks in here. What's going
And I'm
on?
sure she looks at Lupe and blames him.
She's like, ugh, you just really keep that thing on a leash. Don't worry. She's gone. She's transferred away.
After she's fully gone, I like toss the bun to Thana, and I'm like, if you need this for any blood magic later.
That's hilarious.
Or you can burn it on my sword.
Thank you. We're gonna keep it.
That looks pretty too. Can I keep it?
Magic.
God.
The coins.
Yeah, the shinies were for you, Lupe.
And that piece of paper.
Okay.
No, I made the shinies
Who
for
picked
you.
up the coins? Who picked up the coins? Okay. You are gonna get 4 silver pieces.
Yay.
4 silver.
Chinese.
Shiny things. Okay. So, as you are all waiting in this large crowd and everyone's kind of murmuring, you suddenly hear the very familiar booming voice of our favorite Blondie, who takes into the air. And his voice kind of echoes out almost as if he's using like a megaphone or something. And he's just like,
Can I?
yes.
Sorry. Before he starts, and directly after I give them both things, I turn to Abira as the other old person in the room. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how you make friends, right? You give people stuff?
Yeah, that's you're on the right track.
Where- Really?
Friends give people stuff, right?
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, that's the right track.
And so his voice kind of echoes out and he goes,
Oh, this
I, Gladius, leader of the elites, welcomes you all to my humble abode. Oh, just kidding. I don't live here. Today, you will be answering the call. You will be giving yourself to country and 50,000 gold pieces. Now, I know some of you here are not here because you believe in being a good person. So just know, once you enter into the castle, there will be watchful eyes. So do not try anything unsavory.
it's giving desperate.
Who said that? And he's scanning the crowd. I am not desperate.
My sword is still on fire, right?
Be careful, sir.
Can I hold it up and ask him, is that 50,000 split or each?
And he just completely ignores you. And he sees another hand. He's like, what? I'm not answering any questions. You can all...
I live,
Yes, the tall...
there.
Savannah.
Yes, this one. What is it? What is it?
Shiny man, can you use simple word?
Castle gate open. Go inside now. Hopefully you idiots can understand that. And he goes off. He's just like... So, I'm going to guess that you guys are all entering.
It's
So...
like Willy Wonka.
So you are then led in this massive group through the front entrance,
Factory.
from the front entrance of the palace, and after several twists and turns, you are suddenly led into this grand room. It's a large room, and it's adorned with columns that reach the vaulted ceilings, and is creating an impressive, yet an imposing yet very elegant atmosphere. Its soft ambient light emits from magical sources that are along the walls, and it casts a warm glow over this impressive marble flooring that is beneath your feet. And as you advance further into the room, your eyes are drawn to this half circle of 7 ornate chairs, lining a crescent-shaped marble councilman table.
Lupe goes in one of the chairs.
No.
If y'all want, I prepared for that. If y'all want to mess with
Lupe, no.
Keeping a very close eye on Lupe and making sure that Lupe
I
is
rolled
close.
an 11 on wisdom, and I'm gonna say I am too
Lupe.
awestruck to.
You were too awestruck. I like that. I like that you were too awestruck to do anything. He's like, whoa!
Zaren's trying to get us to hang back in the crowd and not be the first people in the room.
I like that. Okay. So you guys are kind of back, and there's a lot more people who are pushing to the front, wanting to see. And So there are 7 chairs lining that crescent-shaped councilman table, and each chair is carved from rich wood adorned with an intricate symbol, although the significance of each individual symbol eludes you. If anybody want to check to see if they would know this? Anyone proficient
I was
with?
about to say, can I make a history or
Yeah,
a
anyone
check?
wants, yeah, history or it would be a history check. Yep.
It ain't me.
That is a dirty 20.
Oh, okay, great. So, you know that the symbols themselves reflect the councilman that sits in that chair. So whatever kingdom they are from or the resource that they provide, it tells you where each one will sit. And you notice that at least one of them, you can tell, is for the dwarves, one is for the humans, and various other races. Though, depending on who lives, who dies, etc., you do know that those people can rotate out. So we have not had the same councilman every year. That's just not what has happened. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts as 6 figures, distinguished in regal attire, stride into the room. The members of the Royal Alliance, and they command the attention with their presence, and they are made up of various races found throughout the kingdom. Each takes a seat in their designated chair, but you can't help but feel a palpable sense of authority and notice that there is one chair that is left barren. There are soldiers lining the wall that have come out,
What's that supposed to be?
that have followed out the councilman, and and they stand tall in a collective movement, and everything is silent for a moment, and it suddenly becomes clear that there is a protocol in place, and you all sense the expectation to show respect by bowing or kneeling, which everyone else in the room slowly starts to get to a knee. What are you guys going to follow?
Follow suit and encourage Lupe to follow suit.
Oh,
To
okay.
blend in or what?
I would say Abira is probably at the far back of the hall, like leaned up against a pillar with this like halberd, just kind of
There
like
is
resting,
gotcha.
like resting on the back. Doesn't necessarily bow or kneel probably, but it's just kind of like sitting in the shadow of like the.
So they maybe
pillar of
not
the
don't
wall.
even notice you necessarily. Big guy, silent.
The last one to kneel.
In fact, as you are looking around, all of a sudden you guys notice you were the only ones who haven't kneeled
No,
yet.
I did.
You kneeled.
There's a
You're
lot-
starting to kneel.
Pretty tall.
You're in the back, hoping to not be noticed. Zarin?
Zarin will do her best to blend in.
Okay, so we'll say maybe like a slight bow, maybe not all the way to the floor. Lupe, do you bow?
Lupe's already on the ground.
Lupe gets forced to bow. Okay, phenomenal. So as you do so, once everyone has, the soldiers in unison and turn as a dark-skinned woman steps forward amongst her colleagues. Her hands are clasped in front of her, and you take note of her piercing white eyes and her very long silver hair cascading down her back. And you notice she is tall, at least as tall as you are, if not maybe a little bit taller. She is a towering being. And as she speaks, it is just a silence. Adventurers, let me start by expressing my gratitude of your arrival. I'll get straight to the point, as the situation is grim. As many of you know, Fioria is a standing testament to this country's long-term salvation, and yet there are those who seek to destroy that salvation. To the northwest lies the Whispering Woods, an abandoned project of cultivation that is now infested with walkers and something else. I won't lie to you. We stopped sending the elites long ago, as several platoons were wiped out, and we have yet to recover a single body. No one says anything. A stout
But that means they're shinies.
A stout dwarven woman with a scowling demeanor who is sitting in one of the seats. She kind of just looks over and she says, "Oh, great way to get them on board, Yashara." And she looks down. She said, "Well, it's the truth."
Abira like whispers forward to the group and is just like, some elites.
You also notice that the woman who is the stout dwarven woman, she's got this branching scar across her face. Something at some point has torn from the base of her temple down to her shoulder. And maybe there's a reason that she didn't want to go into too much detail about why they are now suddenly hiring mercenaries. And then Yashara looks at you and says, there's a predator whose territory grows ever closer to our borders, and I have a feeling it may or may not be working alone. So I turn to you all, 50,000 gold, and if you wish, a place amongst our elites. Who among you will be our champions? You must either A, slaughter the beast for the full reward amount, or gather intelligence and bring me back part of its hide for half. And as she says that, the room, no one answers her for a moment. And then that woman with the large bow who reached out to you earlier, she steps forward. Stacy, and she says, so let me get this straight. You want us to risk our lives out in those death woods that you abandoned eons ago, and you don't even know what the hell we're fighting. Sorry, princess, but I'm not going to be fodder for the capital. And she turns on her heel and she starts towards the exit. And after a moment, people start getting out. And they start.
Yeah, that's what I was about
What?
to ask.
How visible is her bald spot?
Oh, everyone can see it, and you can just hear some people go. She turns around and is like, what? They're like, nothing.
Silent,
I didn't see anything.
Silent, staring straight down, yells, "Nice bald spot!"
What?
As loud as possible.
And she go, what are you talking about? She, oh my God, which one of you did that? It was the rat, wasn't it? Oh, I am so done here. And she storms out of the room. You'll get yours, you pet. She assumes it was you.
Apprentice.
She lost her mom. Just remember that.
She lost her mom, and you know why she is the way she is.
I hope you find your mom.
So one by one, they start picking themselves up because as everyone hears that an elite's body has not been recovered, not fully anyways, since this has all started, what chance did they have? And before you know it, the room is empty, except for you all. Yes, my mind must be like, yes. And Yashara looks to you and, yes, little one.
I was told last night that everything belonged to someone. Does stuff in that woods belong to people, or can I have it?
She kind of thinks for a moment and she goes, those people aren't alive anymore, so I suppose you can
So I
take
can have
what
the
you...
shinies.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Who...
I nod.
He's ours.
She looks and she goes, oh, is this Kingdom Savior? Well, adventurers,
Your
you are
previous
the
case
only...
didn't save it, did it?
Was that a yes?
Yes.
She looks at you and her eyes narrow a bit, and she just reminds you to watch your tongue.
Silent thinks that she's kind of hot. So he
Oh, she's very hot. Would smash or pass? Would smash for
Especially since
sure.
she's super tall.
She's a little taller than Silent. Does Silent need someone to reach the top shelf? I'm just saying. The toppest of shelves.
Simon has found
Zarin would like to point out to the group, we only signed up to come and see what was going on. We did not sign up to fight something.
But
Adventurers, thank you so much for staying. I assume that you are accepting the call. I'll tell you what, as you're the only ones here, and I can tell you are so eager for your country. Even if you manage to just bring back the hide, I'll give you more than half. I don't... yeah.
So I can't help but notice. Where is the 7th council member?
Or she.
So, are you all taking on the job?
I do want to.
She would come with a station.
I do.
Of course.
I do want to reiterate, holding information from the only people who are willing to save.
The whereabouts of your leaders is not your concern. If you are here to make money and to do right by your country and make something more of yourselves, fine. I understand those who don't want to take this job. However, unfortunately, everyone is going to have to, yes, small one.
This place is very big. Where's the restroom?
Well, does she need to get a guard to escort you to the bathroom? Because she's not letting you go on your own. I'm telling you that right now.
Thanks. I'll be back.
Do you actually need to?
I think he actually has to use the bathroom. I think that's the reality.
So a guard escorts Lupe to the restroom. He's holding his hand and bringing him to the little restroom. It's okay. It's also a gender-neutral bathroom. Let's just get this straight.
An actual question, though.
Yes.
50,000 each, or is it 50,000 in total?
50,000 in total. Do you understand how much 50,000 gold is?
I do, but your flyer does not specify.
Yeah, it's kind of false advertising,
I
really.
agree. You should really have like an asterisk or something down there.
Yeah. I can have our
just
legal
wanna
team
reiterate
like
for
send
the
over
group
something.
that
She's
we did
starting
not
to get
agree to
suspicious
do
of you
this.
all and why you are here. If not to answer the flyer,
We're here for gold.
50,000 is what I can provide.
Okay, so that's in total. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay, fine. I will admit there is a little bit more to
Whatever.
the story. If I tell you what happened to the countryman, to the councilman, will you agree to take on the case?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what happened.
yeah, I mean, I think we're
Yes or no?
I think we're at a lot more
Probably.
liberty to take on the case if we have full information. Yeah.
The councilman went missing in this very area after he insisted on leading an excursion team and hasn't returned in many moons.
So is there a recovery bonus?
So
If you manage to recover, absolutely. We can talk about... But since that probably won't happen, as you know, this is a very high-risk job, I'll discuss the rewards with you once you return. 50,000 gold is what the flyer says, and that is the
Not very
base.
incentive to actually return him then.
Is there a
As I said, we will. If you manage to return him, then we can talk about spicing up your reward.
All
But as
right,
we've
fine.
never had anyone come back, I don't see what wasting time on negotiations will do.
Silent would take his robotic arm and slam it on the ground and say, "We'll do it."
You're just gonna do absolutely.
The prettiest restaurant.
Oh, that's funny.
okay, you know,
Did they do
I'm
wallpaper
just
or
The towelettes.
was there a moist towelette? Is there wallpaper? Like, is the toilet
As this is
gold?
happening-
The walls are pretty.
As we're all having this conversation about the bathroom, you can see the woman's eye is twitching, and she is growing very suspicious as what is happening.
I feel
and
like
as
we
she's
already
about to
said
just-
we would do it.
As she's about to throw you out because she is suspecting something is amiss, a familiar voice echoes from behind her. Oh, you've all taken the job. That is fantastic. And Featherwind appears in the courtroom, and he offers a very slight bow to Yashara, but he doesn't seem to offer like oh, your royal highness. So there's something interesting there. And he says, oh, I'm so glad it's you all taking the job. You know, there is an additional bonus if you... And Shara kind of shushes him and says,
Whoa, hold up. What about this additional bonus?
if you manage to capture the beast and bring it back alive for us to investigate on 100,000 gold.
okay. Now
Oh,
see,
you should have started with that at
If you-
the top.
yeah.
There's no way that you'll all capture its alive. In fact, I'm certain now that your ragtag bunch will be thrown to the wolves.
Okay, so hear me out. Because Featherwind brought up the extra 50,000, clearly you guys have more in the coffers. So I'm saying we say this. If we are able to bring the council person back alive, that's an additional 50,000. So 150,000 at stake.
She laughs and says, sure, let's see what you can do. Because she does not believe that this will be possible. And so she then lifts up a hand and she kind of waits a moment and says, does any of... As your fingers touch with hers, actually, she gets kind of like a little spark. And she says, do you have something in your pockets?
Cause every time we touch, I get this
Do you have
feeling, and every
a
time
key?
we kiss,
A
I swear
portal
I could
key on
fly.
you? Is that what I'm...
No.
No? Well, I had this portal key upgrade that I was going to give somebody, but if you don't have a key, I guess we'll just save that for another time. Oh, you do have a key.
I do
Oh,
have a-
may I see the key?
Yeah.
So she takes the key, she takes her hand over it, and you can see a little bit of energy glowing from it.
key.
And you have, she hands it back to you and she
Key,
says,
Abira.
here is a portal key upgrade. If you look at the back, it tells you what it is. I drew a key, and it's the best key you've ever seen, and you will shut your mouth, and you will be grateful that you have a key. Okay.
Like in Spanish?
Yeah, like, do you see, look how good it is, guys. Oh my god, that looks like it can unlock anything. Oh my
That
god.
one's hard.
So the portal key gives you access to open one gateway without the use of a doorway or keyhole. You have to have a clear destination in mind. If you don't, the portal opens up to nothingness, literally a void. And if you stepped in, well, don't step in. This is going to work. This is going to work once. So we are still going to have to get you there. But in case something happens, you can use this key to get back here. The only reason I have not given this out is because we cannot do this for every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes through the front door.
I'm Lupe. I'm not Tom.
She's starting to regret her choices and is just wondering if she should let the kingdom fall to ruin. But
Can you have a cage ready for us to teleport into? If we
You need-
teleport with family?
sure, if you manage to, we'll have a little cage.
Yeah, so we need we're gonna need a magic cage that can let us out of it,
Exactly.
but we'll keep the beast in it.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
So we just need you guys, and then whenever you get that cage built and set up,
I like
I'm
how they
gonna
don't trust
need.
me, so you guys are trying to get every little detail.
I'm going to need a detailed picture and description of it, birded to us when
we
we're in the
don't know
woods.
the beast. We have
No.
remnant.
When you build the cage, we just need a detailed thing of the
Oh
cage.
yeah, let me just send you. I'll just send you a Snapchat pic. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Alright, just give
All
us a
right.
map of where in the woods we're supposed to go, and we'll go. Also, if you could throw in a couple health potions, that'd be cool too.
Okay.
Also, any intelligence that the elite might have returned before they disappeared.
Very quick. Does anyone else besides Lupe need a bathroom break? IRL. IRL. We will be back momentarily. Until then,
Live, laugh, love.
fart sound. There you go. Live, laugh, love. Okay, we will be back in 2 minutes. So
Man, you
don't
must
go
keep-
anywhere. With over 40 video game titles in the franchise and spanning 9 generations, Pokemon is the second highest grossing video game franchise of all time. And our adventures have taken us all around the globe from Kanto to Paldea. But no matter where or what Pokemon brings us, we are always posed with the same task of choosing a starter Pokemon. Which begs the question, which is the best starter Pokemon for every generation, starting with Kanto? So the Kanto region is where it all began and where we meet the first starter trio of the series, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. And a lot of people I know, including myself, always chose Charmander as their starter pick. And he seems to be arguably the most popular of the three. But despite this popularity, the best pick for the Kanto region is actually going to be Bulbasaur. Not only is it super effective against the first 2 gym leaders, Brock and Misty, and can hold its own relatively well against the 2 subsequent gyms that follow, but Bulbasaur evolves into his final evolution several levels before his counterpart. Meaning, during the mid-game, you have access to Venusaur much earlier, which really helps for some of those main story battles. It is also worth noting that Venusaur absolutely wrecked Giovanni. Notably, there are aspects of the later game in which Venusaur kind of struggles, but overall, Bulbasaur is going to be my number 1 pick for the Kanto region. Next on this list is going to be the Johto region, sporting the starter trio of Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile. Right off the bat, Meganium is absolutely trash. None of its attack stats reach or exceed 100, its speed stat makes it incredibly slow, and most of its type matchups are horrible, leaving you to an uphill battle for a majority of the main game. On top of that, the move pool Meganium gets access to is very lackluster, leaving it to be described as basically the poor man's Venusaur. Next, we have Totodile. Personally, I actually really love Totodile. He's got a relatively decent build, and Feraligatr can be a devastating late game sweeper. But he is a physical water type attacker, which doesn't actually allow for him to use his ice or water type moves very effectively. And on top of that, good water type attackers are actually just relatively easy to find in Johto. Finally, we're gonna look at Cyndaquil. He's super effective against 3 gym leaders and carries through several parts of the Elite Four with relative ease. Type Explosion is also a great special type attacker, and its stats are more in line for this type of fighting style. Essentially, all of the stats are where they need to be to make the starter excel compared to its counterparts. It's also super effective against more relevant main game battles, and basically for those reasons, I'm gonna have to say Cyndaquil is my pick for Generation 2. Jumping right over to the Hoenn region, which sports the starter trio of Mudkip, Torchic, and Trico. Now, all three starters are actually relatively good picks, great even, each of which excels at its own respective stat. However, it's pretty well known that Mudkip is a top tier pick in Hoenn. Being super effective against 3 gym leaders and Tate and Liza's Psychic Rock combo, Swampert is able to hold its own against most major battles, both early and late game. And on top of that, the Hoenn region doesn't actually have a grass type gym leader, basically taking away one of the few weaknesses you'd have to concern yourself over if you chose Mudkip as your starter. Antoinette from the future here. What's up, trainers? It's Antoinette from the future here, and if you guys are enjoying this Pokemon related content, do me a favor and go ahead and smash that subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below what your favorite starter Pokemon is. We have finally reached my personal favorite generation on the list, Gen 4 of the Sinnoh region, the starter combo of Piplup, Chimchar, and Turtwig. Now, these starters are actually regarded as some of the best in the franchise. All three are great picks, and there can be an argument for really choosing any of them. However, with Chimchar and Turtwig being super effective against 3 gym leaders and 1 Elite 4 member respectively, they do have a slight advantage over Piplup, who is only super effective against 2 gym leaders and 1 Elite 4 member. So, which is better for the game, Chimchar or Turtwig? Well, my pick is gonna have to be Chimchar, as Turtwig does sport a 4x weakness to ice, and on top of that, there are actually only a handful of fire type Pokemon that's really available to you for a good chunk of the game, so grabbing yourself a solid fire type out of the gate can really help you in the later game. Jumping over to the Unova region. Now, Unova is another region where none of the starters are actually necessarily bad, but Tepig is by far the best choice amongst the 3. Not only do both Snivy and Oshawott evolutions remain a pure grass and water type respectively, but Emboar gains the fighting secondary typing that absolutely annihilates all of Team Plasma's dark type Pokemon. And although the league does change dramatically between both copies of Black, White, and their sequels, Tepig still remains the strongest pick in all 4 titles, at least considering main story elements. Tepig does suffer from a slow speed stat that can sweep out your team if you lack defensive capabilities, but comparative damage output more than makes up for this Pokemon, which is why Tepig is going to be our choice for Gen 5. Moving right over to the Kalos region, sporting the trio of Finnegan, Chespin, and Froakie. Right out the gate, Chespin has a difficult time against most gym leaders in the game. While he does hold up relatively well against some of your rival battles and Team Flare, in terms of overall utility, Chespin kind of falls flat compared to its counterparts. Which leaves Finnegan or Froakie. Finnegan is actually amazing at gym battles and is rather useful in the Elite Four. However, the entire faction of Team Flare seems to really favor dark types, which Delphox really struggles with, which leaves Froakie as my number 1 pick for the Kalos region. Like Chespin, Froakie excels at battles against your rival and Team Flare, but perhaps does so maybe a bit more effectively, and outside of a few electric type matchups, Greninja doesn't really have to worry too much about super effective moves for a majority of the game. Now we're gonna take a look at the Alola region, a beautiful island paradise sporting the starter trio of Litten, Rowlet, and Popplio. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Out of these 3, Rowlet is by far the most popular. It starts out as a grass and flying type Pokemon and then drops the flying in favor of Ghost, making Decidueye the first starter to be immune to both normal and fighting type attack. But outside of the beginning battle with like Wishy-Washy and some late game battles regarding the Elite Four, the majority of the game Rowlet does seem to struggle against almost everyone, including Team Skull, which you will find the most often throughout the game. And for this reason, Rowlet is actually arguably the worst out of the 3 starters, which leaves Litten and Popplio. So which is better for your long-term journey? I'm actually gonna have to go with Popplio on this one. The fact that it sports the dual fairy water typing region means it can stand its ground through a majority of the game, and also being able to TM the move Psychic to fend off any poison type bumps this Pokemon up to the #1 spot. Now don't get me wrong, Litten's actually a very close second on here, but that fairy typing really just pushes Popplio ahead of the rest of the pack. We have finally made it to the Galar region, one of the most interesting generations on this list, as the discussion of which starter is the best kind of changes a bit depending on which copy of Sword or Shield you decide to pick up. With the starter trio of Grookey, Sobble, and Scorbunny, there can be some slight debate on which is actually the best choice. But after much deliberation, my choice absolutely has to be Grookey. It's not my first starter pick when I play the games, but it is undeniably the best one out of the three. The first two gyms are an absolute breeze for you, and by the end of the game, you are a super tanky Rillaboom with a high HP stat. But it is worth noting that if you did end up choosing Shield as your copy of the game, Scorbunny isn't actually that bad of an option due to the gym changes. And finally, we have made it to the Paldea region, Fuecoco. Even though Scarlet and Violet is super easy and you can really choose whatever starter you want, if you want the easiest version of the game, just pick Fuecoco. That's it. Paldea was easy.
We're back.
And we're back.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. What happened?
I gotcha.
No, it says we're live.
Back to intermission!
No.
With over 40 video game titles in the franchise and spanning 9 generations, Pokemon is the second highest grossing video game franchise of all time. And our adventures have taken us all around the globe from Kanto to Paldea. But no matter where or what Pokemon brings us, we are always posed with the same task of choosing a starter Pokemon. Which begs the question, which is the best starter Pokemon for every generation, starting with Kanto? So the Kanto region is where it all began and where we meet the first starter trio of the series, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. And a lot of people I know, including myself, always chose Charmander as their starter pick. And he seems to be arguably the most popular of the three. But despite this popularity, the best pick for the Kanto region is actually going to be Bulbasaur. Not only is it super effective against the first two gym leaders, Brock and Misty, and can hold its own relatively well against the two subsequent gyms that follow, but Bulbasaur evolves into his final evolution several levels before his counterpart. Meaning, during the mid-game, you have access to Venusaur much earlier, which really helps for some of those main story battles. It is also worth noting that Venusaur absolutely wrecked Giovanni. Notably, there are aspects of the later game in which Venusaur kind of struggles, but overall, Bulbasaur is going to be my #1 pick for the Kanto region. Next on this list is going to be the Johto region, sporting the starter trio of Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile. Right off the bat, Meganium is absolutely trash. None of its attack stats reach or exceed 100, its speed stat makes it incredibly slow, and most of its type matchups are horrible, leaving you to an uphill battle for a majority of the main game. On top of that, the move pool Meganium gets access to is very lackluster, leaving it to be described as basically the poor man's Venusaur. Next, we have Totodile. Personally, I actually really love Totodile. He's got a relatively decent build, and Feraligatr can be a devastating late game sweeper. But he is a physical water type attacker, which doesn't actually allow for him to use his ice or water type moves very effectively. And on top of that, good water type attackers are actually just relatively easy to find in Johto. Finally, we're gonna look at Cyndaquil. He's super effective against 3 gym leaders and carries through several parts of the Elite Four with relative ease. Typhlosion is also a great special type attacker, and its stats are more in line for this type of fighting style. Essentially, all of the stats are where they need to be to make the starter excel compared to its counterparts. It's also super effective against more relevant main game battles, and basically for those reasons, I'm gonna have to say Cyndaquil is my pick for Generation 2. Jumping right over to the Hoenn region, which sports the starter trio of Mudkip, Torchic, and Trico. Now, all 3 starters are actually relatively good picks, great even, each of which excels at its own respective stat. However, it's pretty well known that Mudkip is a top tier pick in Hoenn. Being super effective against 3 gym leaders and Tate and Liza's Psychic Rock combo, Swampert is able to hold its own against most major battles, both early and late game. And on top of that, the Hoenn region doesn't actually have a grass type gym leader, basically taking away one of the few weaknesses you'd have to concern yourself over if if you chose Mudkip as your starter. Antoinette from the future here. What's up, trainers? It's Antoinette from the future here. And if you guys are enjoying this Pokemon related content, do me a favor and go ahead and smash that subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below what your favorite starter Pokemon is. We have finally reached my personal favorite generation on the list. Gen 4 of the Sinnoh region, the starter combo of Piplup, Chimchar, and Turtwig. Now these starters are actually regarded as some of the best in the franchise. All three are great picks, and there can be an argument for really choosing any of them. However, with Chimchar and Turtwig being super effective against 3 gym leaders and 1 Elite Four member respectively, they do have a slight advantage over Piplup, who is only super effective against 2 gym leaders and 1 Elite Four member. So, which is better for the game, Chimchar or Turtwig? Well, my pick is gonna have to be Chimchar, as Turtwig does sport a 4x weakness to ice, and on top of that, there are actually only a handful of fire-type Pokemon that's really available to you for a good chunk of the game, so grabbing yourself a solid fire type out of the gate can really help you in the later game. Jumping over to the Unova region. Now, Unova is another region where none of the starters are actually necessarily bad, but Tepig is by far the best choice amongst the 3. Not only do both Snivy and Oshawott evolutions remain a pure grass and water type respectively, but Emboar gains the fighting secondary typing that absolutely annihilates all of Team Plasma's dark type Pokemon. And although the league does change dramatically between both copies of Black